entertaining podcasts I listen to. I don't listen to many. That one, Francine, it's a different point of view. It's a female point of view, but someone who's been through the hardcore wars.
Yes.
So what Francine has to say to me matters and is important. And there are two guys up in New York, Monte and the Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
I find them hugely entertaining. I find them fun to listen to. But those three are the only three podcasts really other than, the PW Insider stuff that I listen to at all.
Big Ron Shaw here, the Earl of Upsets, telling you to watch my friends, Monte and the Pharaoh, on Long Island's #1 wrestling podcast show, and soon to be the world's #1 wrestling podcast show. That is going to be a big upset.
All right, I'm gonna shoot myself because I am. First of all, I'm not a producer, right? So, like I told you, we're in studio, and I don't have to pay attention to stuff. And Jimmy, I don't know, Izzy. Well, first of all, Jimmy, can you introduce? Since I jacked this up so bad, can you introduce our esteemed guest of honor, please?
I didn't even realize you jacked it up so bad. I saw a bunch of swirling circles. It was kind of mesmerizing. I kind of liked it for visual effect.
I was entertained.
Yeah, exactly. But for those folks at home who want to give a hug to the screen, it's not a coincidence because tonight we have Izzy Moreno. There you go, right there. There she is.
I've never heard of that ever. If you want to give your phone a hug, coincidentally, it's because it's me. I love that. I'm gonna start saying that. But thank you so much for having me on. Got super nervous because it literally just cut to me just sitting here by myself, and I was like, "Oh God, I'm on camera."
Izzy, I was almost like, I'm just gonna leave her up there by herself and just let her sit there.
I would have just yapped by myself and just pretended like I was talking to somebody. It's fine.
Well, you know what happened actually. So, there's a point where Ron Shaw, he's a friend of the show, was talking, and he's like, podcast show, and I don't know, I was drifting like, what's a podcast show? Like, I was really listening, and then before I knew it, the show was live, and I'm like, where is everybody? I hit Izzy, she's sitting there. I'm like, oh my God, I suck. What else?
Also, I did not get the memo with the sunglasses, and I'm so sorry.
Oh,
well,
okay.
Hey, look, I don't know.
I love it though.
There you go. That's it. And a lot of people hate it though. But
it's cool. It's different. It's differently different.
Makes us look younger too, right, Mike?
Jimmy? Huh?
Yeah, I think it makes us look younger. It's hiding all my wrinkles. Well,
listen, I'm at a point where I'm going to wear a paper bag on my head. Right? So, I'll go that way. Izzy's too young, but there used to be the unknown comic on the Gong Show. I'm going to, I'll run that whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just put a paper bag over.
Izzy, I got to tell you, I mean, when Jimmy and I talk, I used to, when I was a young guy, I was like a young, lights on guy, and now I'm a lights off guy. I can't look at myself anymore. I don't even know what to say.
I have plenty of those days, so it's all good. Legit, I'm telling you, I have those days plenty of times.
So you're here for the big event.
Yes,
Want to tell us a little bit about it? What's going on? What are you doing up here in New York? What are you doing? Let's hear it.
I'm actually doing a lot this weekend, which I am so grateful, especially to DNS Collectibles, my amazing BFFs over there. First off, we're kicking off the weekend at the big event from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'll be signing all day there. And then I am driving straight over to Staten Island for Warriors of Wrestling Road to Solution at 7 p.m. Doors open up at 6. Bell time starts at 7. And then we are capping off the weekend at Coney Island. No better place to be. I'm going to be signing there from 11 p.m. to 2 p.m. I can't remember the exact location, but if you go on my socials, it's plastered all over. But no, I am just so excited to be here. I like to say I'm like an unofficial New Yorker because my parents are from New York. I have family that live up here, and I just being somebody who's Italian, I'm like, I feel like I am at home and I feel at peace with my people. And I feel very happy to be here. So we're just hyped for this weekend.
Listen, I personally, I'm not going to speak for Jimmy, but I'm personally excited to meet you in person. What
Yes.
you've done in the short time you've been, well, you really haven't been in the industry a short time. You've been in the industry actually a long time, right?
Ooh, yeah. We were talking about this before. I think like honestly, like I was put into the public eye. And when I say that, I don't mean like I was actually like forced into the public eye, but I think fans first started to see me when I was around 8 years old. So that was 10 years ago. I'm 18 now. So I like when I say oh I've been in the industry, that doesn't mean like oh I'm some veteran or like I'm you know what I mean? Like I'm not that at all. So when I say that, I'm like, no, I've somehow have been related to professional wrestling
Wait a
for
minute.
10 years.
You don't go into the indie locker room and be like, show me respect, come up and hang and shake my hand. You've been in the industry a long time. Shake my hand, right?
Ooh, I listen, I've been on the receiving end of that, and it just so I hope and I know I will never ever be that person. For those people who are good for you. I hope it works out for you. But I'm definitely not that person.
All right, I got to ask you. Like, I'm not asking you to name names, but what's it like? They're actually coming in the locker room and they're looking at you, waiting for you to acknowledge their presence. Like, what's the
No,
app?
I don't even know how to describe it. But for me, especially usually being the youngest in a locker room, it just somehow like I'll hear about it like afterwards, like, oh, you didn't shake so and so's hand. And I'm like, well, they looked really busy. And like, I just did not want to be that person to just be like, hey, my name's Izzy. I'm a really big fan. Like, I'm just like, I hate being that type of person, but then I'm also not the type of person to not go up to somebody. So I will like stand in a corner and like mentally struggle with like whether or not I need to go up to somebody. But I've gotten better at it now because like at shows, like as soon as I get there, I will like put my bag down and just say hello to everyone. And I try not to interrupt, but I'm just like, hey, like I'm a very like extroverted person, so I think that kind of helps a lot. Except when I'm like having crippling like demons fighting over like whether or not to go up to them.
Jimmy, I got to
You better
ask you,
get
what do
rid
you
of
think
those. It
about that
sounds like she's
whole
getting rid of those.
Jimmy? What
Yeah.
do you think about that whole ritual that the
Yeah.
younger wrestler has to acknowledge the older wrestler?
Well, I think that there is a thing called respect. I mean, and there is a
Mhm.
line, and in somewhere in the middle lies the truth. If I was a young up and comer, I'd come. I personally would probably come into the locker room with an attitude that I belong there, but at the same time, I would not be a douche about it. Like I said, in the
That's
middle,
literally me. That's
yeah,
literally me. Yep.
yeah,
That's
in the middle
that's
lies the
it.
truth. You
In a
have to have
nutshell.
some confidence. If they see that you've got all these questions and you're unsure of yourself, some of them will prey on your ass. I'm sorry, they will.
No, it's true.
So stay tough, stay focused, and in the middle lies the truth. Just keep
I
going the
have
way
a
you
good
said you've started to go.
I
So
have a good poker face in the words of Lady Gaga. I have a great poker face.
there you go.
Oh, I love Lady Gaga,
You're gonna
by
need
the
it.
way.
I do too. I'm
Just so
gonna
you know.
see her in March and I'm so excited.
Oh, you're so lucky,
Okay.
man.
I
My
know.
God.
What?
When
What?
Bad Romance starts, I'm gonna start literally levitating in my section.
All right, Jimmy, I'm nerding out right now. How'd you like the Star is Born, Izzy?
Oh
Uh,
no.
I'm gonna be honest, I've never seen that.
What?
I know, I'm a big fan. I know. I love Shallows. Shallows like is me and my mom's like crying, like scream it out song in the car. But I've never seen it. I think because it came out, I was pretty young when it came out, and I just like I honestly didn't appreciate movies back then, like those type of movies. So I was just like, oh, when I get to it, I'll get to it. And like I think before I go to the concert, I'm gonna have to see it. So that's honestly on my next to watch. I think it's like on like South, like you can watch it on the Southwest app. So I'm sure on my one of my next flights, I'll definitely watch it.
All right, I got to
You
ask
know,
you one
Mike,
more.
being from
Go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
yeah, I'm no, I'm just saying for me with Lady Gaga. I mean, being from the Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath camp. I mean, come on, look
Hmm.
at me. But Lady Gaga, talented, talented, talented,
I
and oddly
adore her
enough,
so
I know
much.
her from American Horror Story. So
Oh,
she's
I loved her in American Horror Story too. Like I
yeah.
just she's such an icon.
Yeah, very talented.
You know what? Icon, good woman, but I got to ask you from the women's side of it, Izzy, do you think she goes out of her way to make herself unattractive in some cases?
What?
Whoops.
There is
Sorry.
one Grammy like red carpet appearance that she made. I think
Huh.
it wasn't even that. I forgot what she like wore, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" I was like, like, she's naturally super pretty."
Yes.
And so I was like, I think it was her makeup that like kind of messed it up. But I can see, like, I think she looks great right now, like on on the Mayhem Ball tour. I think like
Mhm.
she honestly looks like so good, like legitimately. But there, like that one time, I was like, okay, Joanne, what are we doing? I was like, come on now.
Yeah. No,
Was it?
listen, I think because Jimmy, I don't again, this is Lady Gaga talk, so I apologize. But
Right.
I
No, that's
think
okay.
she like goes out of her way to like, she messes with her eyebrows. I mean, when she goes blonde, I think she's a natural brunette, right? So it's
Yeah,
like
I think so.
and she's a beautiful,
She can
beautiful woman.
honestly rock both. I think because there's this one because she wears like different wigs in the concert, but there's this blonde one that she wears and it looks so good on her. Like it looks like that's her natural hair color, and I'm just obsessed with it. So like honestly, she can play both. And then the other wig that she'll wear is like it's just like black and it's so pretty on her. So like
Mm.
honestly, either way she can go.
I want to ask you a question now that we're
Yes.
talking about like someone like Lady Gaga or yourself, right? You're in the public eye. You almost have a double whammy on you, right? You're still extremely young.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the public eye. You have to be on social media. What kind of pressures do you go through with your body, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure people are like, no matter what you try, it's like they're either trolling on you or I.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy and I speak about this all the time. Men and women and wrestlers, in fact, we'll just use wrestling. They've got to keep themselves in such great shape. And the minute
Yeah.
something slips, it's like the attack. And then for a woman, it's even worse, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, how do you handle it at such a young age? I can't imagine like not melting down, you know?
I've had plenty of those moments, and I hate to say that I have had those moments, but I think it's completely natural. Um, Being somebody like I honestly think one of the worst mistakes I've ever made in this industry is growing up in it publicly, I should add. Because it really was never easy at all. I think the biggest thing that I faced was like the double standard when it came to certain things. So I had my first match when I was 10 years old, and a lot of people were not happy about that just because I was 10 at the time and I was way too young. Um, but then I would see like younger boys like have matches in like Mexico or like even in the States and it would be like, "Oh my God, this is so awesome." And I was like, wait, I'm really confused. I like this just doesn't make any sense to me because like when I do it, it's like get this kid out of wrestling, but when everybody else does it, it's like, oh my God, like this is so cool. Um, so I think that was always the hardest part. And sometimes I do struggle with that even today. Um, but I have a really good support system at home with my parents. I have an amazing therapist. She's awesome. Kimberly, shout out to Kimberly. And I just have like really great friends too that just kind of ground me. I have definitely put like measures into place where it comes to social media. So like I have like a timer on my Twitter app, so, like, I think I can only spend, like, an hour a day on it, and so after that hour, like and I honestly, sometimes I don't even, like, hit that hour because 'cause I'm barely on the app, and I'll just post what I need to post, and then I, like, exit out because I think Twitter's the most toxic out of them. I'm chronically on Instagram, I love Instagram so much, um, but
Well,
no, I think
Instagram's got a good feel to it, right? It's
it
not,
does. You can't vanity search yourself, like,
yeah.
nobody can just, like, post their thoughts and, like, it's just it's more grounded than Twitter because I think Twitter's like the Wild West, like, you can literally wake up and be like, "I had the best sleep of my life, and I'm about to eat a ham sandwich." Like, that's, like, the type of stuff, and I'm like, "Okay, like, I don't care about that," and then on top of that, you get, like, the critiques and, like, the replies that are, like, not so nice.
Mhm.
Um I would also say, like, for me, like, being a woman in wrestling can be super isolating sometimes because as, like, empowering as women are and we're like, "Oh my god, girl power," like, let's support each other, it can also be very, like, competitive, and I get that because this is a very competitive industry. So I think at times it can feel isolating, but that's where like I'm really grateful to find like some of like the few people where I'm like, oh, I trust them in this industry. Because I'm gonna be honest, like I'm cool with a lot of people, but I'm not like, oh, this is like somebody that I'm like I can really trust. So I have very few of those, and I'm so lucky for that. Um, it's definitely come with trial and error to figure out like, okay, like where do I kind of fit in this world? But honestly, like right now where I'm at today, I'm really happy with like my mental health in wrestling because it's taken like a long time to get here. And it honestly it's not the best where it should be, and it's still growing and building. So it's just it's that's kind of the world of pro wrestling. You just kind of build and grow and see what works. And honestly, like my whole career in wrestling has just kind of been trial and error, if you will.
I wouldn't
Brilliant.
lose too much sleep on the double standard because here's some free therapy for you. The double standard is jealousy. Trolls are based in jealousy,
Yes.
usually. They're just very jealous people. Circumstances and
Mhm.
fate allowed a door to open for you that you wisely walked through in your career so far. So I
Mhm.
really wouldn't lose any sleep over the jealousy. See,
Yeah.
Mike, I'm like Dr. Melfi from the fucking
You are.
Sopranos, right?
I oh my god, I have to watch that show so bad. My parents were like begging me to watch that show, and I have
Yeah, I
You
to. I'm
know.
haven't
such
watched Sopranos either,
I
is he?
know. I'm
I'm
such a
Oh my God.
disgrace to my family, to my Italian
Wow.
family, like literally a disgrace. I'm
you
awful.
Izzy, I want to go a little deeper, right? So
Mhm.
we're older, right? So we're in our well, late 50s, Jimmy. Or do you want me to like call it mid 50s so we don't play it off
Stop
as old?
lying. I mean, no, you were accurate with the first part, mid
Okay.
50s. Yeah.
So look, we've seen it all, and so in today's society, with all the upheaval that's going on, not even about wrestling. How difficult is it to be a woman in today's world? Forget about the wrestling
Mhm.
and the social media stuff, right? How does it feel to be a woman in today's world, and how do you navigate through that?
Yeah, it can be also very hard because I think like so, and I know people like hate when others say this, and I hate also saying this, but if you define professional wrestling, the unglamorous dictionary version, it is a job. And sometimes professional wrestling can kind of translate into the corporate world.
Mm.
I know we're not trying to talk about wrestling.
No, no, you could get in because I'm sorry to interrupt you, but one
No,
of
you're
our
good.
famous lines together is we feel professional wrestling is the microcosm of the real
Hmm.
world, right? And it's almost like this isolated family in a lot of cases, especially if you're in it,
Yeah.
right? So so yeah, please keep going.
And so I think for me, like a lot of like the experiences that I've had in wrestling, like I'll kind of explain to my parents, and I'm like, I just like I don't get it. Like I don't get how this happens. And sometimes they'll be like, yeah, only in wrestling that would happen. But then also they kind of relate it to like experiences that they've had in their jobs and in the corporate world. And I'm like, okay, like maybe wrestling isn't as different as like the real world.
Mm,
um I think going back to your main question, I think right now for me, I try to I always try to stay updated with things, especially when it comes to travel because I was getting a little nervous with the airports. Um, but I just think it's so important just to try to stay as educated with everything that's happening, especially with the future. And I know I'm only 18 now, but like a lot can change, and I'm not somebody to talk about my views on certain things. So I'm like, I don't think anybody would want to hear that from me or from an 18-year-old. So it's not really my place to say, but I just think right now, like I just try to stay as educated as I can. And I really just don't try to speak my mind on a lot of things. Even though I'm sure if you look at like my likes on Instagram, you see me like a couple things. Um, but no, I think I honestly, it's so weird because like my entire world is professional wrestling. So like when somebody asks me that, I'm like, I really like don't know because like I feel like all I've ever experienced is professional wrestling, which is, I say this in complete humility, it's kind of terrifying, and I've had to kind of figure out like who I am outside of wrestling and like who Izzy the person is, and that's been a really awesome and fun and challenging journey. and that's something I've actually had to figure out, especially this year. Because and that's also another mistake I've made in this industry is not figuring out who Izzy is outside of this world we call wrestling. And I would say June, I really had that moment where I was like, who is Izzy like outside the ring, outside the friendship bracelets, outside the ring gear and the really cool like glittering stars and everything. And so yeah, I think that's just really important for me is just figuring out who I am outside of the ring.
Yeah, well, take it from an old guy. You'll be asking yourself that question the rest of your life, you know.
Yeah.
But that's okay because it's different phases. As you go, you'll identify
Mhm.
with different things that happen in your life, and trust me, you'll eventually go, "Hey, that long-haired old guy was right about this weird stuff." But considering how you came into this business so young, I mean, what was the moment that the light bulb goes off that you fall in love with wrestling in the first place? Is it a match? Are you watching on television? What on earth puts you in the spot that got you to where you are today?
I wish I and this is where I'm like the worst wrestler ever who grew up watching wrestling because I don't have like a defining moment where I'm like this match made me fall in love. I will say the moment that kind of made me like, hey, this is what I want to do in the future, is the Sasha and Bailey match that I was slightly involved in. I just think because and I always tell people this, but I remember being in that crowd. Obviously, I was sobbing, but before I was sobbing, and even after I was sobbing, just seeing the atmosphere and the emotion from the crowd, that was just something that was so magical, and I was like, "That is what I wanna recreate someday in some form or fashion," and I know I'll never, ever become close to that level that Sasha and Bailey did on that night, but I like to think my connection with the fans kinda, like, reignites that feeling, at least for me. I'm a very nostalgic person when it comes to that, and I think, like, that's a huge part of like why I'm into wrestling and still am to this day because it's just so nostalgic to me and it's just a weird warm and fuzzy feeling. And I don't know if that sounds like weird or anything, but like it's just for me like started watching when I was like 3 or 4 and then I started to like really like, get involved in it at 8 with the Bailey stuff and being Bailey's biggest fan and then it just kind of blossomed from there. So I'm really lucky to have an amazing and I call them my BFFs, but, like, legitimately, like, my fans are, like, my BFFs. I'm very lucky to have them. I have some of, like, a lot of, like, my most cherished memories in wrestling come from, you know, going to meet and greets, engaging with the fans, and obviously some of my highlights is always, like, the kids, because that's honestly my primarily my, demographic, but it's really just cool to see. Because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, I was in that position, like, not too long ago, and I know exactly what the feeling is like when your favorite wrestler, like, comes up to you and is like, ask you what your name is or, like, ask you how you are." Um I also like to think of myself as like a Disney character. If you've ever been to Disney and they have like, the characters walking around, like I literally like to think of myself like that because whenever I like go up to a kid and their like face lights up, I'm like, I feel like a Disney princess right now and they must think I'm royalty.
Well, and I'm sure they do. Here comes a tough question, though, Izzy. Right?
Uh-oh.
So, wrestling has progressed, and for the fan, they've kind of priced the fans out at this point, right? And a
Mhm.
lot of how do you feel about that? For example, I am sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've been at signings where maybe a less fortunate family could come up to you that you know scraping their dollars just so they're
Mhm.
the kid fan wants to see her idol Izzy. Um, do you feel at this point that like their wrestling is pushing its fans out or out overpricing the situation?
I don't think so because I think people will always watch wrestling in some way. I see a lot of posts on social media where fans will bash a product, a wrestler, a show, and then they'll tweet about it the next day how amazing the show was. So I don't think people will ever kind of like get pushed out of wrestling. Um, and I'm also I try to stay educated in this area as much as I can, even though I say it doesn't affect me, but I'm sure in some way it does. But I think for me, like, so something that's really important for me is having merchandise for all price levels. That's something that's really crucial for me. Um, and so I literally have merch. from all ranges. So I have $5 stickers, I have $10 trading cards, I have $15 trading cards. They're like more like special ones. My 8x10s are $10. I have my t-shirts for 25. And then I hand out friendship bracelets, and those are completely free because I always say friendship should not come at a cost. So I always just try to like keep in mind because like I know what it's like to go up to like a table and be like, okay, what do I want and what's something that's in
Mm,
my price range? And that's honestly, I think that's where I have the biggest advantage sometimes is I think, and this goes with anybody who grew up watching wrestling, but like I know what it's like to go to a WrestleCon and meet wrestlers and know the type of experience I want to get from them. I know what it's like to go to a wrestling show and know what type of match I want to see. I know how to go like what it's like to go to a wrestling show and like know how a wrestler should act. So I really just try to do my best and just to make an experience for somebody because like for me, it's always like you never know what someone is like what's going on in someone's life.
mm.
And I've had plenty of moments in my life as a kid where I was like either struggling in school or just needed like a break from life, and wrestling was my escape, or going to NXT was my escape. And that's the same thing. I try to recreate that feeling for any fan that comes up to me. And so I'm really excited to be doing that this weekend. Honestly, my signings are always my favorite thing I get to do, just because I get to meet so many amazing fans who either I've met before and then it's like a little reunion, or fans that are like, I've been wanting to meet you for a long time. Finally get to meet you. I've been watching you since you were like 8, and it's just like a really cool full circle moment.
I got to ask you now because you're a pretty impressive human being at your young age of
Thank
18.
you.
Please tell me about your parents because clearly those are two parents that knew how to raise a child. So let me
Absolutely.
hear about your parents, please.
Anytime I get to talk to my parents, it just makes me so happy. I truly try to like mention them on every single interview I do. So my parents, Cody and Jenny, um, so I told you guys, they're from New York, moved to Florida. They actually met in Florida, ironically. Um, they've been married, not sure. I want to say 16 years. I'm terrible with that type of stuff. But they are like, and I think a lot of people can say this about their parents, but like truly, they are my biggest fan. My motto is be your biggest fan, but like for me, my biggest fans are my parents. A lot of the stuff that I've done in my career would not be possible without them. And I know they've heard me say this, so at this point, I have like a little script of what I can say about my parents, but like they've just made so many sacrifices for me, and like it's very hard to put into words like how much that means to me. I am super close with my parents. Me and my mom were like two peas in a pod. We look identical, which is really funny. So she loves whenever people ask us if we're sisters. But and then also my dad, me and my dad. I'm more of a daddy's girl, I'm gonna be honest. And so we love watching football. We love just yelling at the TV together when the Commanders are god awful. No, but my parents are the absolute best, and and honestly, like I would not be the woman I am today without my parents. So all the stuff I'm saying to you guys today is kind of an extension of who my parents are and how incredible and how just empowering and strong they are.
Now,
Great comments.
how did the Commanders get? By the way, Mike, I'm sorry that I got bounced out. Apparently, my Wi-Fi needed to be murdered, so I just got off my Wi-Fi. I got off the Wi-Fi, and now I can hear you guys crystal clear. Yeah, go figure.
Yay!
But with the New York connections that you were explaining, you got to explain to me as a football fan, because Mike and I are
I
like,
know.
we're Jet fans, and we're just miserable. Where does the Washington
I'm
connection come in?
miserable too right now. I get it. So my grandfather, my dad's side, his favorite quarterback was on the then Redskins. I
Yeah,
want to say, was it Mark? I never know the quarterback
Mark Rippon.
ever. Maybe Mark Rippon. I
Uh,
always forget it, and I'm just awful for that. So then obviously my dad grew up watching. When my parents started to date, my mom actually went to my dad's house with a Giant shirt on. And then I was like, "No, you need to go home and change." And she actually did. He was like, "This is like a
oh,
religion here."
no hug,
And
no
she
hug.
did. So that should have told my dad that she's the one. So she became a fan, obviously. And then I started watching, I think it was the 2020 draft when we drafted Chase Young. because I don't know, like I always tried to get into it, but I never fully did. And ironically, I used to play flag football as a kid, and I was the quarterback, so I just like never ever got into it. But that
Play for the
2020
Jets.
is when I I honestly should. I feel like I'd be pretty good.
You'd do better than
I have a
Justin
good arm.
Fields. Yeah,
Yeah,
you do better than Justin Fields.
I
Why not?
can
You
scramble a
can do
little
better.
bit.
Yeah.
Um, but I started to watch. I honestly think I started to watch during the pandemic, but ultimately, like the main reason was like I want to be able to like have something other than wrestling that I can connect my like me and my dad can bond over, and it's honestly football. Like that's our major thing. Um, and I've dealt with the heartbreak of the Washington Redskins, the Washington football team, the Washington Commanders. We try to go to a game every single year, so we actually just went to the Sunday night game where we got our absolute butts handed to us, and I was just miserable there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, everybody like I have such a wide variety of sports. So I'm a Yankees fan, I'm a Commanders fan, I'm a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, and
Okay.
that's about it.
Well,
Yeah,
she's got Tampa Bay Lightning and the Yankees. Well, the Yankees
yeah,
are okay.
they are what they are.
I got to ask you when you were younger and you were working kind of
Hmm.
with NXT and stuff. Did you have
Yeah.
the availability, or did you meet Stephanie McMahon and Triple H at any point?
So I know a lot of people think I was like a plant in NXT. Like what happened between me and Bailey was completely organic. Like I literally would me and my parents would buy tickets for shows. I dressed up as Bailey because she was my favorite wrestler, and she still is. And we'd go to the shows, and like that kind of little bond just was super organic. I did meet Triple H on a couple of accounts, and same with Stephanie. I remember I met them both at the same time, at a SummerSlam meet and greet, actually in New York. And then I would see Stephanie like in the crowd, and I'd ask her to take a picture.
How, how do you feel about Stephanie McMahon and what she's done for women? And more importantly, I have to say what she's done for sick and ailing children. What are your thoughts on Stephanie McMahon?
Yeah, no, I'll never forget the her announcement. Um, for Evolution. I think that's kind of something that's really engraved in my head because that was just such a big moment for women's wrestling. Um, but no, I think she's somebody that has made a lot of strides to kind of build women's wrestling, that women's evolution. I really think she played a key role. And I think there's so many key roles. Like it wasn't just like one person. I think there's just so many people that really contributed to that. Um but she's somebody like I said, that announcement she did for Evolution was just really just empowering, and same with like what she does with the sick kids, and like I that's something I really like I love to see, especially in this industry, because it takes nothing to do that, and you can always change a life.
I love it. Do you see yourself making this your final career, or do you think this is just a stepping stone? Because you did say you're going to college. May I ask what your major is?
Yeah, so I'm going to college for communications.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. um as far as that question goes, it's funny because like I've always viewed professional wrestling as my forever career. um But I think, like, I've gotten realistic where I'm like, I know my body can't do this forever. I know I can't, and I refuse to be the type of person to like chase a destination. Because for me, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and like getting to enjoy the moments in between. And if something comes along where it gets me to a destination, then awesome. Um, right now, I would say I'm probably the happiest I've been in wrestling, which is really strange because like what got me this happiness just like was the oddest like thing and just like destroyed me. But then I'm like, wait, no, like on the other side was like a really awesome pot of gold, and I'm like really happy right now. Um and it's just like it's awesome because I'm only 18. I'm booked almost every weekend and I travel almost every weekend, which is really cool. And like
Yes.
I get to go to like places that I really wouldn't go out of my way to go see. I get to like, especially on trips in New York or when I'm booked in Georgia where my aunt lives, like I get to see my family. And I'm gonna be honest, like this is the most I've seen them in like for most of my childhood, and that's mostly because of wrestling. So I'm like making up for lost time. And then also too, like I've been able to, like, enjoy it more, and for me, there's not like, I don't get as much I don't feel pressure on me anymore. I don't get as much anxiety when it comes to wrestling, like, I just go out there and I'm like, "Let's just have some fun, whatever happens, happens." Um, but going back to your question, like, I'm not saying, like, "Oh, I'm gonna retire in, like, 2 years and I'm done." Um, I think if, like, I get to a point where I'm like, okay, this isn't really working out anymore. Nothing's really happening. I don't want to keep on chasing a ghost. Like, I want to rely on my degree. So I'm gonna be
Okay.
honest, communications degrees, they're pretty nice. And there's definitely jobs in that field that pique my interest as far as like my skills and like what I can bring to the table. But that's something I'm not even like really thinking about right now. Like obviously I'm focusing on college and I'm like making sure my classes are as smooth as possible, but I'm also like, okay, if God forbid something happens, like, thank God for a degree. I think that's the biggest lesson of 2025. Thank God for a degree.
I love it. So I got to ask you, does when you travel, did mom and dad
Mhm.
say to you, "Look, Izzy, I don't care what you do, but you're not dating a professional wrestler"?
Ah! Listen, listen, I think at like recently I am officially retiring from trying to talk to a professional wrestler. Like I am like retiring, I'm hanging my hat, I'm done. I'm leaving my boots in the ring in that sense. I can't do it anymore. It's awful. It's literally crippling. It's like it's
Wow.
terrible. I
Wow.
can't do it anymore. Like I literally can't. There's nothing more I can do. And I know like what I can bring to the table as far as like a relationship. And I'm like, I know I'm confident in who I am. And I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent because like recently some stuff has happened. So I'm like, I'm fired up.
Go, gotta
Um,
go. Good, good.
but my dad, I tell my parents a lot of stuff, and my dad's like, please just stop, whatever you do, not another wrestler. And I'm like, okay, like my dad's telling me, and I think, and so is my mom, and I'm like, I think it's time. No, it's awful. It's just so awful.
You know,
Like,
not to be a New Yorker about this, but you know what they say about shitting where you eat, right?
yeah, I've heard that way too many
Yeah.
times, and I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
like the other
No. No.
girls.
No.
Like,
It doesn't. Yeah.
and
No. No.
he's not like the other
That
guys. Like, he's
right.
different this
Right.
time.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah, boy.
same story, and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I just want to have fun. I like my little single life. I want to go out with my friends. I
Yeah.
want to go line dancing and meet a cute cowboy. That's all I want to do. That's all I
Cute
want to do.
cowboy.
A cute
Yeah,
cowboy.
that's
Okay.
Okay.
that's the vibes you're going for.
Okay. All
Oh, I
right.
love this. This is fun.
Little Yellowstone going on here. Okay. All right.
Yes. Oh,
Yellowstone.
yes.
What is that about?
A cute
Dude,
cowboy. What?
I
There's no
went line
handsome.
dancing on Halloween and there were some prospects, okay? Like
Jeez.
there's some prospects, I'm just saying. And I'm pissed because I was chopping it up with this one guy there. I never got his Instagram. I was like, no, I don't
Oh.
know if he's like feeling me out. And I was like, damn it.
Wait a minute. So, like, when you're chopping it up, it's like, all right, well, can I get your
Chopping it up.
Instagram? Is that how we communicate now?
Yeah, kind of.
Like,
I don't
not your
even
phone number. Let's Insta it,
No,
right?
that's too scary. Honestly, that
Wow.
terrifies me. I'm like, I'm not that bold. I am bold, but I'm like, honestly, I was with my best friend that night, and I was like, I just want to have so much fun tonight. Like, let's just have a good time. I thought I was like kind of making progress with somebody else, and then I can't make any like promises. Like,
Well, well,
we gotta have a
consider
roster.
considering the best thing that ever happened was your organic moment in wrestling. I think you should just wait for the organic moment when it comes to this stuff. Don't be looking
I
like this. You know.
And that's what I thought with this most recent one because it came out of left field, and I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm
Well.
like, maybe this is my Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey moment. I was like, here we go. I was
That's
like,
All
I'm
great.
right.
ready. Not that I was gonna
Oh,
like
she is.
marry him, but I was like, okay,
She
like
is Disney.
this
My
I am
God.
Disney.
You are
Um,
Disney. Ay, unbelievable.
but we were wrong. This was like
Yeah.
I don't even know like how we can compare this to one of Taylor's ex-boyfriends. I don't know. This was like Calvin Harris. I don't know.
Listen, I'm going to go on record and say you're swearing off wrestlers. No dating wrestlers anymore. That is
Smart.
No.
all.
I'm
Smart.
officially becoming that person that's gonna tell other people to not date another wrestler.
That's a great
Smart.
idea. I think so.
Yeah.
Smart.
I'm gonna warn the girlies.
I tell Jimmy all the time, stop dating wrestlers. He never listens though.
You're a jerk, Mike.
Wait,
I
I
have.
don't believe you. Wait, that's such a lie because oh wait, no, you said your Wi-Fi. I don't know why I thought you said your wife. I thought you said your wife for a
Oh no.
second.
Well, that went too, but the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Well, she opened the door. I had to walk through it. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Oh my God, I love it. I love it.
Izzy. But Mike keeps bringing up how old we are. What would you say is the biggest difference between the older generation fan, us guys who like storytelling and
Mm-hmm.
the pace wasn't a finisher in the first minute of the match, stuff like
Yeah.
that. What would you say is the biggest difference between the attitude towards wrestling of the older generation and the young ones today?
I don't. I'm trying to think because I don't think there's a huge difference. I think like sometimes it honestly depends on the show. It really does. I think recently I've seen, at least in the environments I'm in, I've seen a lot better like job at like psychology and like kind of slowing down a match, which is really awesome to see. Um, but I would say like I say maybe the younger generation, it's kind I've heard somebody say this, but like it's kind of like a microwave, like they want it right now and they want it like fast. Um, Whereas like old school wrestling, it's more paced out, there's more storytelling, and I honestly I watch a bunch of that at practice. I think whenever I go into practice, there's, like, old I hate saying old school wrestling playing because it sounds so, like, diminishing to it, but there's wrestling playing, more from, like, the '80s, but there really isn't, like, a giant difference, um, I know, like, some people think there is, but I honestly I just think we just love this sport, and it's just, like, whatever is on, like, we'll cheer for it, and if it's really bad, we won't cheer for it.
Well, well said. But I would tell you, we grew up watching old school wrestling, and I tell
Mhm.
Jimmy it all the time. I refuse to watch it anymore because when I all those great memories, and when I turn it on, I go, "This is just awful. I can't. I
It's
can't
so
watch this."
I watch a lot of it and I'm like, "I don't think you could do this today because I don't think anybody would
Oh,
be into it." Like, that's where I mean, where I'm like, because there's a lot of spots that I'll watch in, like, an '80s wrestling match where I'm like, "Oh my god, that was so cool," and I'm like, "Okay, if I did that on the show," and it's not like I'm looking to get a pop or anything, but I'm like, "If I did that, I don't think anybody would like that because it's
Izzy,
just like we're in a different generation now."
let's try it Saturday night. I want you to put someone in an arm bar and hold them there for 5 minutes. No matter
I
how mad
can't.
the crowd gets, you just
I
keep
had a
them in that arm bar.
conversation I had a conversation with somebody and I cannot wrestle in silence. And I know like some of that can be my doing, but like I've been in front of crowds where like it's a little bit quiet or they're a little drained from like all the night of wrestling that they've watched. Whenever it's like dead silent during my matches, I just I want the ring to like just eat me up and like swallow me whole. Like I can't. It just irks me to like the next power and I'm not expecting fans to like cheer for every like second of my match. But when it's like, I don't know, when I'm giving out friendship bracelets and they're free and you're still not cheering for me, I really question the person you are. I'm totally joking.
That's when you turn heel.
That's when I turn heel. No,
So
but literally, like I'd always be so confused because like in my entrance, I'm like I'm really energetic in my like entrances and my matches. And so like I'll give a friendship bracelet to somebody, and I've had plenty of experiences where they'll like look at it like I gave them like a knife or something, and I'm like,
Well,
no, this is just
listen,
like
Jimmy and I go through this. Like, we're going to be at the big event, right? We hand out our
mhm.
business cards. There's nothing worse when you like start walking around and you see your business cards laying on
I'm
the
gonna
ground.
okay, I'm gonna be honest, like I get like not gifts, but like people will be like, oh hey, like here's this, and I'm like, okay, I really don't want to bring this home with me. Like, how do I get rid of this? So like I'll wait to get rid of
Oh,
it.
wait a minute, Izzy. Hold on. You've got fans that spend their time making
No,
you a beautiful
no,
gift, and you're
not
like,
like
how do I
that.
throw this in the
No,
trash without hurting their
not like
feelings?
that. It's where it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I got like somebody gave me like a makeup sample, and I'm like, I'm not gonna
Flush.
use like Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna use this. I'm like, I don't even wear makeup. I'm so awful. Like,
That is
honestly,
Now,
I'm
great.
gonna be completely honest. I could be the complete opposite of my character sometimes, and that's where I try to like
nice,
hide this version of me like as much as possible. Because I'm
nice.
like, I feel like people would like legit hate me and be like, "What is wrong with this girl?"
Yeah,
Jim,
Um,
Jimmy,
I
wait,
get
I gotta
gifts
tell you,
all
I
the
gotta
time.
tell you, Izzy, I
Wait,
gotta
I have a
good, good,
gift.
good.
Somebody gave me a gift. They gave me a Labubu, and I have it on my bag. So it's not like I throw them out. It's just like it
Jimmy,
depends on the gift. If it's a little weird, then no.
fan of the show, Michael Fenster is going to be there tomorrow. He probably painted this
yeah.
portrait of Izzy, and he's going to hand it to her, and we're going to walk out after it's closed. It's going to be sitting in a garbage can.
That I never throw out ever,
He
ever.
he'll be crying. You can't do that to
Somebody
Fenster. Will you?
made me for a big event. They made me like a balloon animal of me,
Nice. And
and
what'd you do?
I was
Pop? Did
like,
you pop it?
"No." I was like, I said to my mom, like, "What do we do with this? Do we fly back with it?" And she's like, "Yeah." And
You know,
Wow, mom is
I was like,
cool.
I'm not walking around the airport with this. And she
Yeah.
this
was
is
like, "Yeah, you are." She was like, "We're gonna bring it home." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So I was like, "Whatever." I'm like, "We
I
can't put it in like a bag or something." She was like, "No, it's gonna break." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, you're true."
Wow,
That's why you're smarter than
mom's
me.
mom's keeping you straight. Here's a
She
so
is.
you're with David, right? And David's a great
Yes.
promoter. I love
Oh,
David.
he's amazing.
But you travel, and I'm sure you go to these indie shows.
Mhm.
How often do these promoters try to stiff you?
No, I've never. Because I'm gonna be
Wow,
on.
wow.
I'm like, this is what I want. This is like what I expect. If you can do that, thank you. If not, let's negotiate. If you can't do any of that, then maybe in the future. Like I'm very like I know what I want, and like I know my value, and I know that kind of like like gives people like the wrong rub from me. But like, and that's another thing about being a woman in this industry. Like, if you're confident, like that comes off as like being like having an ego, which I truly don't get. So like honestly, wrestling has like really like my confidence in wrestling has been like a roller coaster because I'm like I'm very confident in myself, but then like I've had to act like a girl who's like unsure of herself and is like doesn't have confidence at all. And I'm like, wait, no, like I know who I am. Like I'm Izzy. Like I'm proud of who I am. So in that sense, I'm like, no, like I'll give like the promoter like what my rate is, what my expectations are, and if they can't do that, then it's okay. It's just business at the other day. It's nothing personal. Like, but I've never, I mean, knock on wood, I've never had that experience where like anything like that has happened. So hopefully it doesn't happen. I'm sure it will because I've heard plenty of horror stories.
oh, there's plenty of horror stories out there in this business,
Mhm.
unfortunately. You know, one day your heel turn is going to be outstanding. By the way, I'm going to be the
I'm gonna
first
be
to say
honest,
that.
I've been thinking about that so much recently,
Not
and
yet.
I'm not
No, no,
gonna
no,
do
no,
it.
no. Not
I know
yet.
I'm
Not
not gonna
yet.
do it anytime soon, but like I'm just
Right.
like, oh my god, how cool would I look as a heel? Like I'm
Yep.
like, ah, I'm like, I just can't wait. Like,
Yep.
because here's the
Yep.
thing. So promos are something that I really pride myself on. I really enjoy doing promos. I honestly
Good.
think it's my strongest like
Good.
asset
Good.
in wrestling. Um,
Need it.
but I used to like be a manager when I was like 10 or
Oh,
11 at like some like backyard wrestling show in Florida. I would cut promos, and I'll never forget in one promo we were in the land, and I was like, you know what's so interesting about the land is that everyone here looks like brother and sister got married, and the
oof.
crowd hated me, and I
Ooh.
had stuff thrown at me. Like it was real heat. It was real heat. And so I'm like, I can't imagine what my heel promos today would be
hmm
like because my
Right.
promos have gotten a lot better since that time. I was like 11. And I'm
Right.
like, I fear for my opponents because I love promos and I get into them and they're so much fun.
It'll come in handy down the road, but I
It will.
agree, not yet.
Not
And
yet.
just to explain something to you, just you I don't know if you're kidding around when you said some of these fans, you give them a friendship ring and they give you a funny look or whatever. Listen, you are Disney. You are the good. Mike will vouch. I hate John Cena. I the
Oh,
character, just the
John
character, because
Cena's
I
like my
like bad
guy.
guys.
He's like what
I
I
like
model
bad
myself
guys.
off of. Yeah,
I
okay,
like
I get
bad
that.
guys. So, like, if you hand me a friendship ring, I'm one of those weirdos. I'm like, oh God, I'm not rooting for you. But
Yeah.
doesn't mean I didn't come pay to see you. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's
I've
like
had
it's like
plenty of
one of those
those.
things.
But here's the thing, like, I truly am not gonna turn heel anytime soon because, like, as much as I, like, toy with the idea, like, my biggest, like, example of not to do it anytime soon is my merch lines at the end of the night, and when I have, like, all the kids, like, lined up, and "This is why I do what I do." Like, I love it. Like, it's so, like, humbling and awesome, and it's such a fulfilling feeling for me, um, just to, like, have that, and it's something that will never, like, diminish or, like, change for me.
Izzy, help the old man out here with social media impact on professional wrestling in today's landscape. Like,
It's
like
so important.
I'm still having a hard time adjusting. Mike is already
Mhm.
way adjusted compared to this dinosaur. But when I see tweets that are part of feuds and stuff like that, I'm like, oh my God, you sent out a tweet. Well, they call it X today, whatever the F they
Yeah.
call it. But what do you think about the social media impact on today's landscape?
I think it's so important because I'm gonna be honest, like, social media has really, like, driven, like, kinda my tiny little BFF empire I have, um, because I've had my social media since I was, like, 10-ish. So, like, I've built it over time, and it's just, like, my social media game, like, is another thing I pride myself on because, like, I don't post, like, about my thoughts or, like, I'm not the type of wrestler to, like, comment on things that don't involve me at all. I kinda stick to I'm kinda in, like, my own little bubble, and I like my bubble a lot, but I think social media is our greatest tool because you can, like, really pop off on there, and I know, like, it's another trial and error type of thing, but I've been so grateful that, like, I started my social media when I was 10, and it just grew over time, and so, like, today, literally, there's fans I've known for, like, years, and, like, there's one I actually just met him in Coney Island, and, like, I've seen him, like, always comment on my stuff, like, always just kinda support me, and, like, I finally met him in Coney Island in October, and I was like, "Oh my god," I was like, "It's so great to, like, finally, like, meet you and to, like, like, interact with you outside of the phone." Um, so, yeah, I think social media is just so important. Another thing that, like this was, I don't know if you guys have seen him, his name is Gary Vee. He's, like, an inspirational I think he is, he's, like, an inspirational, like, speaker or something like that. Um, but he was talking about how Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift is my number 1 artist, um, when she would, like, perform at weddings or perform at, like, smaller shows, like, what that did to build her fan base. So I always just try to, like, interact with my fans as much as I can or to, like, just comment on certain things or, like, the people that I'm following. I just think social media is just so incredibly important, like, people should not that they don't already, but we should just really utilize it for what it is, and it's to promote ourselves.
I personally think it's necessary, and it'll be continue to become more and more
Mhm,
necessary, right? Because being an independent contractor,
mhm.
you've got to promote your brand, right? Because I mean, if you look at Logan Paul, the Paul brothers, just alone, what they've done with their career
Yeah.
just off of social media. Izzy, tough question to put you in, but I think it's
Uh-oh.
important. Hulk Hogan, who passed away a few months ago, iconic wrestler, as everybody knows. Why do you think the younger generation, like yourself, have a hard time forgiving people who have bad moments in many cases? Or maybe you just don't even believe it's a bad moment. Maybe you think it's the person himself. But I ask you, it seems like your generation is really having really wanted to wash away Hulk Hogan's image and his memory. Can you weigh in on that?
Yeah, so something for me, I've always have separated, like, the persona and the real person. Um, I mean, like, he was a wrestling icon. So I think I understand where people are coming from, absolutely. It's hard to say because I'm not the type of person to just, like, hold a like, I don't even know, like, what's the right, like, terminology for it because it's really not my place to say because, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm just an independent wrestler, and I just go out and I wrestle and I have a good time, and I try not to get involved in as much social media stuff as possible. Um, so I think I think just the times have changed with when people get offended on things, which I think is absolutely like what's the word I'm looking for? Validated. But I think it's hard to say because it is a weird situation. He, like I said, he was a wrestling icon, but then some people know about some of the stuff he said. So it's a very weird situation that puts a lot of fans in an awkward and uncomfortable experience. Um, for me, I just, like I said, I always just try to separate the person and the wrestler.
Can't ask for anything more. It's a great answer, and you know
Thank
what?
you.
No, it is. It's a fantastic answer. Jimmy, I want to respect Izzy's time. She's here spending time with her family. First of all, we want to thank you for joining the
Thank you
Howard
for
Stern
having
Pros.
me. I really appreciate
Incredible,
it.
incredible. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm sure you're going to kill it.
Yes, thank you. I'm really excited to meet you guys in person.
Jimmy, you want to hit Izzy with the Pharaoh's final question, sir?
Uh-oh.
All right. Even though earlier she said, in not to paraphrase a Deep Purple song about her journey in this business, it's not the kill, it's the thrill of the chase.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, what is the end game for you in this business? What is your ultimate goal? Where do you want to wind up?
That's a good question. And I used to have a definitive answer, and I'm gonna be honest, right now I don't. I think for me right now, I there's I think there's three things I really want. I want to be happy, I want to be healthy, and I want to be okay. That's all I want in this
Uh,
industry.
you
If
win.
something else comes along the way, awesome. If
Mm-hmm.
not, I know I gave the good old college try, and I know I tried my hardest. And I really want to reiterate what I said earlier, that it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And for me, like looking back on like my childhood, it was always about the destination. And that skewed a lot of my experiences in wrestling. And it breaks my heart a little bit, but then I think back and I'm like, well, it wasn't a waste because like I wouldn't have gotten to, like, have so many, like, incredible memories with my parents that I will cherish forever. I don't even think, like, my relationship with my parents would be as strong as it is today if it really wasn't for chasing a destination. Same thing goes with my fans. Like, I really wouldn't have a fan base if it wasn't for promoting myself and sharing my story. Um, and so right now for me, it is really important to figure out who Izzy Salaji is outside of wrestling. And that is something that I'm like so like excited to do. And like I'm not saying I have the answer today, but I know the type of person I am. And I know that I am a confident young woman. I am in college and I love it. And I know what I can bring to the table. And if somebody wants what I can bring to the table, awesome. If not, not a big deal. Um, so I think right now, like I don't have an end goal with this thing, and that's okay. Like I like maybe next year, like try to like go overseas, like that would be really awesome. But honestly, just have fun and find the love of it again, because that's something that's really important for me is just to like find what made me fall in love with it in the first place.
Jimmy, I got to say this. First of all, Izzy, you're incredibly impressive.
Thank
And
you.
I'm not going to speak for Jimmy, but when I was your age, I was still chewing on crayons. So it's like I am in awe right now. I
It's
mean,
okay.
in
I have
awe.
my moments
I
where I
wasn't
have my
chewing on
chewing
crayons.
crayon moments. Like I love to
I was
color.
I
I
wasn't
love
chewing.
to read. Like I'm a huge like TV. Like I could just sit in front of the TV all day, so it's fine. I get it. I go to Disney every weekend, so I'm a little literal child.
I love it.
I
All
can't
right,
say I
guys,
can't
go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
I can't say I was chewing crayons at 18, Mike, but I was doing bong hits and hanging out in abandoned psych wards. So I guess I might as
But
well have been chewing
chewing on
crayons. It's
crayons.
about as intelligent.
I
Uh,
want to remind everybody,
uh,
Izzy is at the big event. It's this Saturday. I think it opens at 10. They've got
Hmm.
iconic but you gotta get a photo and an autograph with Izzy. She is a future star. Bruce ESO, I'm gonna give him a shout out. Big
uh,
fan of Izzy. He actually met your mother
Oh,
last time you were there. He
oh no way.
couldn't stop bragging how beautiful your mother was, by the way.
Oh God, yes. I gotta look
He
for mine.
guarantees. I know this might not be in your plan, Izzy, but he guarantees you will be in NXT by the end of 2026, if not the middle. And it's a guarantee, he said.
Wow.
That's what he said.
Guarantee.
He's
Woo,
guaranteeing it.
I gotta lock in.
You got to lock in. So you fans, you don't want to miss this boat, because once Izzy becomes an NXT star and eventually makes it to the main roster, you want to have your pictures now, right? Because you're not going to
Right
have time to
now.
get it right now. Jimmy, you want to send us out? Izzy, thank you again. Have a
Thank
great
you,
evening.
guys.
All right,
Thank
Jimmy.
you.
All right, folks, you've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh. Hugs for everyone. Later.
Couple things I want to cover, Jimmy.
Yeah.
500 level has now improved on the M&P code. Now go to MP30 for 30% off. Jimmy, I got to tell you something, right? I was at the beach, again, 500 level. If you guys haven't looked at the shirts, right, go to the website. It's incredible. And I got to be honest, right? So it was a little chilly today. I brought the dogs to the beach. I was off work for the Jewish holidays,
today.
right?
It's cold.
It wasn't cold,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I have, from 500 level, I have a Roman Reigns sweatshirt. Now, usually sweatshirts are not always the nicest fabric, unless I'm into really nice fabric because I just don't like things up against my skin. So usually I'll get thinner type of shirts, but this is a heavy sweatshirt. The fabric, unbelievable. And you're going to get a deal at 30% off, Jimmy. I mean, my God, it's a no-brainer, guys. I am telling you, once you get one shirt from them, you'll get 50. I guarantee it. And they've got all the sports. Yeah, dude, tell me what you think of it, Jimmy.
They're so comfortable. I got to get a long sleeve now. I'm telling you, I got to, because it was chilly today, especially for a guy who's been in Panama City Beach the last 2 years. It was chilly today, and I love the material. It's so silky. Is that the right word for it? I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, dude.
It's so comfortable. So, yeah, I got to get myself some leveled long sleeves. That's for sure. 30%.
And again,
off,
it doesn't, they got plenty of wrestling stuff. They got baseball stuff. They've got football. They got everything, dude. MMA. They got it all, man. And I'm telling you, it's very high quality. Again, 500 level code MP30, 30% off. So if a t-shirt costs you $20, what's 30% off on $20, dude?
It's enough. 10 plus another 20% tacked on top. Not much. It's a steal. It's a steal.
I agree. I want to remind everybody too, the Monte and the Pharaoh show, hit the QR code, be willing to check out our shows on YouTube, where we got almost 24,000 subscribers. Go to our Facebook page where we're approaching 27,000 subscribers. And again, if you feel like donating to the show, please go to the Monte and the Pharaoh webpage, hit donate. Helps us bring in more guests.